All right. Hello, and welcome to Kai Chi Alchemy. You can call me Katchi. This is a space of love, y'all. Welcome or welcome back. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Wherever you are in the cosmos today, I want to thank y'all for showing up. Thanks for co-creating community with me. Thank you for all of the engagement, the likes, shares, comments, subscribes, etc. I really appreciate the ability to reach more people and ideally help more people. Today's message will be a collective message for the Scorpio collective. It will not resonate with everybody. It will not even resonate for everybody if you have Scorpio placements. But if you do have any Scorpio placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, etc., you are probably more likely to find some sort of message in here for you today. Before we get started, I'm going to have everybody, do the one breath meditation that we usually start off with, but today I am feeling the need to do 8 breaths, and we'll talk about that. But you can just follow along with me, focus on breathing in and out through your belly, like some people call it a Buddha breath or like a baby belly breath or something like that. And we're going to do that for 8 rounds, really just following what feels natural and comfortable for you. And, if you take longer than the rest of us, no worries. Just, you're, you're in your own space, right? That's the beauty of it. Okay. That was an absurdly long pause for a internet land space. So thank you for participating with me in that. Before we get started, I'm going to cleanse this space of my altar table here a little bit with the sandalwood and yuzu. May be relevant to you. Been getting a lot of Asian plant allies coming through. Interesting. Sandalwood, I also think, is related to the sacral chakra. to just like grounding. Maybe something about sandals or wood would be relevant for you today. I also have this lemon coconut stevia soda thing going on right now. It's got some bright, light, sunny, like vacation vibes, which is interesting because Scorpio's not generally that. I mean, you know, in my experience, or definitely with stereotypes, you know, the way people talk about that. All right, so before I even shuffle this index deck, I can see through the first card on the top of the deck that was there. 888. I mean, I guess everything's reversed, right? But that looks the same from every direction for you guys. That's interesting. This is also a shape that's been coming through here. We had a lot of scribe messages that came through. So I'm going to read through some of that, but I'm also going to grab a couple of cards from this index deck just to get some real time in this moment confirmation for this collective that I am tapping into today. Definitely a lot of Scorpio energy. We just had the Scorpio full moon. I thought that I was going to do the Scorpio zodiac reading for that moon, but it was, you know, in its own time. It was coming when it came, when it wanted. My Little Pony, fire, swords, silver, interesting. Fire, swords, silver. I'm getting some like, what is that, smelting or whatever? Like blacksmithing, that type of thing. Okay. Swords may be relevant to you. That was actually coming through in the scrying, which is interesting. My Little Pony, I'm just getting kind of like levity. We were also getting pink roses before I sat down here very heavily. Get some of that for you. And when I split the deck, it's at Victor, and then at the bottom it says rainbows. Victor may be a significant name or confirmation for you, but also I'm getting off of that victory, and rainbows and victory is giving major 10 of Cups vibes for me. I think, I may be wrong about this, but I think that the 10 of Cups is like related to the sign of Scorpio in some way. I might have to look that up. Let me know if you can down below, if you happen to know, you know what I mean? The reason I'm set up right here is because I have all these chakra candles, right? It's amazing. But this one right here, the heart chakra, it went out. By the way, the Visuddha, the throat chakra candle, literally just burned out to the bottom of the wick right now. So there may be something about like speaking from your heart relevant. The number 5 may be relevant. But yeah, so this happened the other day. I think it was on the Scorpio full moon. Interesting. So this is like a seed here. I made a post where I took a picture of this candle burnt out and I said, checkpoint. So now we have the checkpoint for the blue as well as the green, if that feels relevant to your situation here. So, May 3rd, 2026, we're channeling for the Scorpio collective and tapping into the Scorpio full moon energy recently, which is obviously related. I got a very strong heart transplant download. That was what this whole energy was all about. Bailing a boat. I also saw like a heart with like cuts all over it. Kind of think like a 3 of Swords, right? You have 3 swords in the heart, and it's bleeding out, and so you're like trying to stitch up and heal those wounds. But if it gets to a certain point where like they heal all funky, or they're getting to a point where there's so many of them, or like you're just losing structural integrity, right? And so the more that happens, the more the water, or the, the stuff that runs through our veins is just coming out and seeping out, and it's not, the heart's not functioning the way that it's meant to anymore, right? I got the words bitter and rotten. And then I got Holographic Universe Theory, Pink Roses, Bamboo, Watermelon Sugar by Harry Styles. And when I looked up the Holographic Universe Theory, because it's been a long time since I've personally been actively involved in that branch of science, what I found said the holographic universe theory suggests that our 3-dimensional reality is actually a projection from a 2-dimensional surface, meaning all the information in the universe could be encoded on this flat boundary. I also got butterflies, dragons, the song butterflies, and the song dragons may be relevant to you. I'm not sure what the artist is with the first one, but I know dragons is Queen Herbie and Dear Silas. I also got downloading images and like that little swirly of doom thing. You know what I mean? From back in the day with the computers, with the desktop computers. Ankh, thread the needle, but I spelled needle weird for some reason with a KN, and so I wrote Neil question mark, and then when I wrote submission question mark, I wrote sub and mission separately, individually. I'm gonna let y'all interpret a lot of this for yourself because there's just so much going on, and I know there's a lot of you, so it's gonna be relevant in different ways to everybody. But pink roses bring the energy of grace, admiration, and sweetness. Bamboo brings the energy of strength, resilience, flexibility, and those together were kind of giving that watermelon energy of strength and sweetness, like a pliable branch. You know what I mean? Um, okay, so this says sew up or throw in the compost. We're talking about the heart, right? So at some point, there's some structure, some pattern, some way of thinking, some belief system. I'm really getting a belief system. There's some belief system that you've been taking blows to, and you've been trying to patch it up, and you're getting to a point where there's like more patches than the original design, and the structural integrity is getting completely lost. And so what I was getting here from downloading images, heart transplant, holographic universe theory, is the idea that if you take that belief system, if you take that bloody, bruised heart, if you take that bleeding heart and you plant it in the earth, you bury it, you put it in the compost, you're gonna need something to replace it. You're gonna need a heart transplant, and you need to go all in on this sacrifice, and so you need to be fully confident or settled, or settled if you aren't fully confident. Like you have to make a decision, right? This is like no going back. It's complete. But with the holographic universe theory, it's the idea that flatland is kind of like the image eye in our minds, where we're able to create a 2-dimensional, um, yeah, a more two-dimensional image of something that we want to create, and then we're able to create it in the world. By the way, the root chakra just burn out. So like, yeah, grounding things into reality. From the 2D into the 3D. And so the idea here is that you want to download a completely new, pure, fresh software operating system, and it's created from the seed of an image from an angel, from a guide, from your higher self, from a mentor. Oh, at the bottom here, it also says this concept emerged from attempts to reconcile quantum mechanics with general relativity and is supported by theories like the ADS-CFT correspondence. So, reconciliation, you have to decide whether something can be reconciled or not. So what kind of heart? Where are we going to seek this new heart? I also got the golden ratio, spirals, honeybees, Some of the information that I looked up on the holographic universe theory came from a website called findlight.net. The strength card, the Buddha, the soul star chakra or Vyapini, gold, the Akashic records, libraries, vanilla, black peppercorn, red roses, orange motifs like the candles or otherwise any kind, honey, bees. That song, honey. I don't know what the artist is. Maybe I'll post it later. Maybe you know. Cancer placements or transits may be relevant to you or somebody significant in your life right now. We have rose quartz, hardwood, Swarovski crystals, jade, Mother Mary. That Aries reading that I did way back at the beginning of the year may be relevant to some of you guys. Can't remember the name of it, but you'll find it if you feel called. Back bends and just yoga in general, like heart opening, somatics, tiramisu, or like cacao and coffee. Boss Taurus, the family of animals or cattle. You may be more familiar with that. But in that, I was getting aurochs, the extinct species of bovine, the wild ancestor of cattle. They're not around anymore, but they're very similar, which is interesting. It's like a lineage, and something dies for good, right? There's a finality here. And it still informs, like the archetype of the Auric still informs reality today in some ways, but as a physical embodied thing, it no longer plays out its patterns here, but some similar patterns. So it's also something about not throwing the baby out with the bathwater, yet starting from scratch. If that makes any sense to you, then there's a reason for that. The Aurochs were prevalent in the Holocene, and hollow, from like the prefix in Holocene, is from the Greek holos, meaning whole or complete. I was hearing on the whole. Somebody that you interact with may say that a lot. You may say that a lot. Or maybe has said it in like when people hear a phrase and they start using it but they don't really know like how to or what it means or something, you know what I mean? And it seems out of place. Yeah. hollow from salvo. Soul means whole, safe and sound. Blood and honey. I think that's like a cider company. Like there's a flavor that's blood and honey, so that may be relevant to somebody, but I was also getting blood and honey, the concepts, the actual substances. And that song Blood by Lave, I think it is, Layb. Yeah. And I got 151 when I was doing this scrying. I think it was a serendipitous angel number thing that I saw on a clock while I was downloading all of this. It was super random, but when I started, I don't usually look up like the angel number meanings online because they're all so unique to everybody, but I did feel called to. I looked it up. It said 151 is the 36th prime number. 36 may be of relevance to you. It represents introspection, independence, and leadership. And also, some of the angel number info said 151 is all about your belief system, interestingly. The number 151 is the 36th prime number. In biblical contexts, it is linked to significant occurrences such as the word cattle appearing 151 times in the King James Bible. Can't make this up. That's crazy. Okay, so this reading is about Scorpio. There's tons of Scorpio Taurus axis stuff going on right now. As I'm filming this, we are in the middle of Taurus season. Taurus is the bull. Taurus is the auric. Taurus is the motherland. Taurus is the nourishment. But Scorpio is the sacrifice. Scorpio is the sacrifice. The lotus is the liberation of your soul. The sword is the protection of the innocent. Every wisdom tradition on earth said you need both, and the world has been teaching you have. Ask, do the work, keep your head down. Lotus is the liberation of your soul. The sword is the protection of the innocent. The lotus, it grows out of the mud. It's nourishment and light and positive, desirable things that come out of darkness and murkiness and muckiness, but it's fertile mud. You come up out of the mud towards the sun. And the sword comes down from the sky and strikes down and makes a sacrifice. So I'm getting like the lotus is a flower, right? It's very sensual, it's very Taurian, it's very surface level. Like when the lotus comes up out of the water, it comes up to the surface. The very, right above the ground, like that's Taurian energy. And then the sword is kind of like a lightning bolt, an asteroid, a meteor, not just lightning, but a ball lightning and like all kinds of energy anomalies. And it brings transformation. It's tower energy, it's death energy. And it's necessary. So Scorpio is like the sacrifice of the bull. And we grow the things up out of the earth. to be sacrificed, right? So maybe you feel some kind of resentment or resistance, some kind of like sunken cost fallacy. But if you can remember that we go through things not always to take them all away, but to grow through them. And like that, it was always part of the plan. It's always part of the plan. Possession, identity, capitis muscles, bite slip. We got wash your brain, or someone will do it for you. And chattel. The way I wrote that was chat, tell, like telephone. Recent phone call may be of significance to you. Okay, and then when I looked up cattle, I think this is from the etymology. It says property of any kind, including money, land, or income, from Anglo-French catel, property, Old North French catel, from medieval Latin capital, property, stock, noun, use of neuter of Latin adjective capitalis, principal, chief, literally of the head, from caput. Chattel means slave. We're getting blood sacrifice. And yeah, okay. So we're cutting something off at the head. And it's nourishing. It's bringing fertility back to the earth. But it's like, is this an animal sacrifice? Or is this a self-sacrifice? Taurus, butter, cream. A Taurus looks like a butt from the side. Rise to the top, raw milk, blood and bread. Blood bread, that's a real recipe, that's a real thing. And then I was getting that song, I think it's Magnet Part 2 or something by Abelhart. And part of it he says, like, fake it till you make it. And fake means deceive or rob, misrepresent, to like polish, to cheat, to like counterfeit, do a swindler thing. And Yaya means a female caregiver. So it's like, are you trying to extract from your mother? Or are you trying to regenerate her? Because if you just take a cow and you eat it, and then you take the manure, the human manure from that situation, and you tie it up in a plastic bag, and you keep it out of the processes of space and time. And you know what I mean? You're literally extracting nutrients and elements, and sequestering them, taking them away. That is death. You are taking away life. Things changing from one form to another, that's rebirth, that's not death. But extraction is death. Extraction is draining something. Extraction is absorbing all the heat from something until the ember goes out. It's giving bloodletting. It's giving familiars. So there's something here about a sacrifice being necessary. And there's different ways to choose how to go about that. And if you don't make the sacrifice, if you don't jump into the fire, if you don't wash your brain, if you don't make the decision will be made for you. Taurus. I don't know if it's, oh gosh, this is gonna be hard. Let me find it. Okay. Can you? I'm gonna find the perspective that makes this work. Taurus. I mean, that's flipped for you. T-O-R-U-S, I believe is how it's spelled. When you look at a toroidal shape, you can see a Taurus symbol inside of it, which is very interesting. That they are, you know, kind of in some ways etymologically connected. Seven Feathers by Nako. Crucible by Elan Nereo. Pronoia by Carly Pearl. Turn towards the sun. It burns, but choose to turn towards the sun. Choose to turn towards your shadow, the gold within your shadow. It's hard to look at. It's painful. It's humbling. But if you don't choose to look at it, you will be forced to soon. Garlic, Born Again, the Fixed Cross of the astrological wheel, Marquise, Markham, Crucify, Crucifix, Blade, Throw It in the Fire, Witch Wound, The Hanged Man, Tomb, Dolmen, Alarm Clock. So here I was getting, Woven Tree, Dome, Home, Bamboo Grows Fast. So you can plant trees in a circle, and then you can weave them together in a way where while they're touching, because they're in such close proximity, they start to grow together, they start to share veins, they start to share life force, they start to share sap, they start to grow into a shape that it wouldn't have grown into unless you wove them together that way. And if you start off with this long range plan and you think about how things are going to play out over the long term, over years and years, you can plan to plant furniture, structures, homes, all kinds of things in a very proactive, ahead of the curve way, but you can see it in your mind's eye, right? So you see it all in your mind's eye first. You just make the decision to move towards that, and eventually it grows into this thing that you saw. But you have to put the grid in place first, and you have to, before even you do that, you have to make the blueprint before you start setting up to do that. And then I got Tomb, Dolmen, Alarm Clock, and Burnt Offering. Blue Lotus, backwards camera. Okay, so under Burnt Offering, it says, as a tribute to God, a burnt offering was entirely burnt on the altar. This is referring, I believe, historically to the Jewish tradition at the time. This is in contrast to other forms of sacrifice, which was partially burnt and most of it eaten in communion at a sacrificial meal. And I saw this again speaking to a full sacrifice, not an extraction, not a ending of a life, just for the temporary pleasure of it, and to like keep the systems going that already exist. But to sacrifice the whole thing. You put it all in the fire. You put the whole thing in the fire. And because you put the whole thing in the fire, you don't get anything tangible out of it. So when you sacrifice something tangible in a way where you don't receive anything tangible back, then you give something dense to the divine. And through that transformational fire, it is transmuted into something of a higher nature, of a lighter nature. Weren't we getting the soul star chakra earlier? Yeah. And the, what is it called? The soul seed? the 0th chakra, the one underneath the root. So we have 0 through 8. 808 may be relevant to somebody here. I mean, Scorpio is a very 8 heavy energy. Okay, so when we were getting this burnt offering energy, it's about identifying what is so dense, what is so rotten, what is so bitter, what you don't want to carry forward, what no longer serves you, the belief systems that no longer serve you, the thoughts and the feelings that no longer serve you. So your homework here, if you are feeling called to it, if you are resonating with this message today, is to go through this tomb ceremony of planting yourself somewhere, going to sleep with an intention, with an image in your mind, and then having that ceremonial, aware moment of waking up and sitting up and taking in your surroundings and breathing in and taking in the light around you and seeing that it's a new day and it's a new place. It's a new reality, it's a new creation. And you've programmed a new matrix for you to play around in from the ground up, from a brand new source. I was getting a lot about demonic possession. And so it's very easy for us to be influenced by external energies, and sometimes that's not even a bad thing. But we need to be aware of it, and we also need to regularly connect to, I was gonna say cleanse, but even just like connecting to the Christ essence inside of you, the like deepest part of your soul that is your most authentic, who you are. And there's other energies and spirits that like interact and flow through that. But something got so tangled up into your identity that you have to throw it in the compost. Let spirit, let God, let the earth do what it will do with that. And then after you make this burnt offering, you have the space in your empty hands, in your empty belly, to receive something of a higher nature, something new, something capable of upliftment and transformation. And yeah. So because there was such a very heavy animal ancestry and biblical tone to this, I'm actually going to pull some cards from the biblical tarot for you guys. We're exactly 40 minutes on the clock. Now it's 4004. Maya, Polly, Michael, Mary, please be here with me now. Please allow me to channel for the Scorpio Collective tuning in today a message in alignment with their greatest and highest good, balanced with that of the collective at large. Please and thank you, thank you, thank you. Please and thank you, thank you, thank you. Please and thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you for your blessings. Thank you for your protection. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for your provision. Queen of Feathers and the Moon. Jacob's Dream at Bethel, if you are familiar. It's interesting here. I don't know if it's a full moon in the story, if it's even mentioned, but it is a full moon on the card, and we just had a full moon, right? That Scorpio moon. And then on this Queen of Feathers, yeah, we have Abigail the Peacemaker. It says 1 Samuel 25:33. May you be blessed for your good judgment and for keeping me from bloodshed this day and from avenging myself with my own hands. May you be blessed for your good judgment and for keeping me from bloodshed this day. Yeah, if you... It's also giving me the Queen of Swords. Is the stark truth energy that cuts. But she is also very compassionate, can be, in her lighter form. She can be very toxic towards others, but if she chooses to turn that sword's energy in on herself, she can cut away what no longer serves, which is literally what happens when you lose the lining of your uterus and you are giving up a part of yourself that you're acknowledging is no good. You missed the mark. You didn't thread the needle. Virgo was not inseminated. And you accept the truth of that. And by doing that, that woman gives blood to the soil that the soil needs in order to regenerate and remain fertile, to keep the minerals balanced and the microbes fed. And we need blood and bones. And by offering these elements to the earth freely, she's able to live through that experience and be reborn again and again and again, maintaining her consciousness and her awareness of the past and her images created for the future. She walks forward with all of that, yet somehow is physically reformed every time. But the head still tells this transformed body what to do, because the head always is her identity, is her eternal identity, is the Godhead identity, not like her mask, not like that, not her image that she puts out in the world to survive in that kind of an environment. But when this woman gives that fertility, makes that sacrifice, we are stewarding the earth and paying it forward to future generations in a way that prevents natural disasters, prevents like famine and when the environment isn't working properly, if we're not stewarding the environment properly, if we're not giving back, if we're not making offerings to the earth, if we're only extracting from the earth, eventually that system's not going to work the way that it's meant to. And so then it's not going to benefit us the way that it's meant to, because we're not feeding back into that system. We're not pouring back into that system. We're not giving it anything to work with to create new stuff for us. And that is death. Death is the stopping, the halting of the rebirth process. It is the stopping of time, it is the stopping of the turnover. It is freezing. Freezing is death. And that is an illusion also. Anything you freeze is just meant to thaw. It will eventually. So when the archetypal goddess woman inside of us makes a conscious choice to sacrifice a belief system, a pattern, a form of energy, and give it to the elements and give it to God to make a higher judgment with and to transmute it into something new. We prevent bloodshed. We prevent the chaos and destruction that brings starvation, that brings war, that brings the death of men and children and people that part of yourself cares about, right? So the moon and the Queen of Feathers are about dreams. The moon is about, the past. And the Queen of Feathers is about the future. So what are you creating in the future? And what are you sacrificing in the past? Get really clear on that. So what you were being asked to do is go through a fire ritual. And I'm sure a lot of y'all may be familiar with this concept of writing down on a piece of paper like a letter to somebody or about a situation or just the words that represent something you've been struggling with, a belief system you want to release, a pattern you want to release. You just channel, you just scry, you just download what you need to. And then you throw it in the fire, the whole thing, and it turns to ash and you get nothing out of that. It all goes to the soil and the air, you get nothing out of that. And you take that powerful, that power, that life force, that energy, that 8, and you turn it into a 0 and you plant it in there to the point where you can't see it anymore. The Empress, Mary, Mother of Jesus. Yeah. So we have Queen of Feathers, the Moon, the Empress. Very, very interesting, intense feminine energy, which I would say the Taurus Scorpio axis is just all about intense feminine energy and healing. And so you have a practical mission that you're being sent on to go through this this burnt offering ritual to create something tangible on a piece of paper. Maybe you don't feel like writing, you want to like paint your feelings or something. Like you want to, but creating something to represent tangibly the belief system, the pattern, the energy that you're moving away from. And staying with that fire through that process to allow the lights, the smells, the sounds to impact your physiology, to impact your subconscious in a way that helps you to truly release and transmute those old patterns into new ones. Maybe they were useful for you in the past, but they're not now. So we're going to take this candle here. I'm going to set it aside. We are going to switch it out with a brand new heart chakra candle here. I'm going to plant this right in here and light this flame with me. Let me make sure there's nothing funky inside of here. All right. Beautiful. Have you take a deep breath and just visualize that flame being lit in your own chest. Anew. Connecting to, reconnecting to that part of yourself that is uncluttered, unburdened, undomesticated. The truest part of your soul that can never truly go out because it is the source of the light. Who you really are is not the candle, it's the lighter. Oh, okay, let's get you an oracle. I think that we're going to do the Heaven and Hell oracle today. Feels appropriate. Like very abstract, all over the place. Yet, somehow I totally got it. I mean, I personally have a lot of Scorpio placements in my chart, so I think I kind of get where y'all are coming from. Again, the throat chakra and the root chakra may be relevant to y'all. I'm gonna light those as well after this. Red and blue are kind of the symbols people use a lot for like the political spectrum, and green is often about union and unification. Yeah, so bringing together the concepts of death and life to create something new, like switching your perspective around on things you think you already know. Oh, and we got Ariel, perception and revelation. And that's also interesting because I literally was channeling Ariel from the Little Mermaid the other day for the Scorpio Collective when I was initially going to do this reading. And so I don't have any more information on that for y'all, but yeah, it could relate to any of y'all for any number of reasons. But it says perception and revelation on the angel side, and then on the demon side it says spiritual troubles. So write all your spiritual troubles on a piece of paper, throw it in a fire, make sure you're safe about it, be outside, have a fire safe container, all of these things. Okay. Disclaimers. And through that process, you'll be able to receive revelation through a shift in perspective and perception, only possible by asking a higher power for assistance to help you to see something from an angle you have never seen it from before, egoically, and all of that. We're down here to stretch. And it's time to stretch. Not just back bends in on your yoga mat, definitely that too. But also to stretch your mind, to stretch your heart, to stretch what you believe to be possible. Love, light, peace, and personal responsibility. I love you so much. I hope you have a beautiful day.